Hey guys, welcome back to another Cultured Boys discussion. I'm Pepe and I'm joined by Nathan. And today we're talking about an episode that's been in the works quite a while for us. It's the Dragon Ball Daima episode. Yeah!
Yes.
I don't know if Nathan actually went silent there because over on Discord, I didn't hear him say anything. I feel like he just went over the mic limit.
Yeah, I think Discord must have cut me off.
Yeah, that's jokes. But yeah, this series started airing back in October last year. But like we were deciding, do we want to do it like in the first 3 episodes? Do we want to watch the whole series? We decided to wait till the whole series came out
Yep.
before watching it. But we've watched all the episodes and we're going to talk about it today. So prepare for spoilers ahead. How are you doing, Nathan? You good?
I am hyped. Just jumping ahead a little bit. I'm so hyped. I've actually watched Daima through at least 2 or 3 times already.
Wow. Okay, that's quite a fair few. Jeez.
Yeah.
I spent the last few days dedicated to it. So like I had no plans yesterday, so I sat down, watched it all pretty much back to back.
I did that, but like 2 or 3 times.
We do want to get straight into discussion, but do we want to do the breakdown for this first so we can jump straight into it? Like just talk
Yes,
everything Daima? Yeah.
we should do that. So, Dragon Ball Daima, created by the late Akira Toriyama, rest in peace, Sensei. Produced by Toei Animation, aired October 11th, 2024 to February 28th, 2025. 20-episode mini-series. Due to a conspiracy, Goku and his friends are turned small. In order to fix things, they'll head off to a new world. It's a grand adventure with intense action in an unknown and mysterious world. Thank you, Dragon Ball Wiki.
Oh, Dragon Ball Wiki in this one. Interesting.
Yep. There was actually an extra sentence there, but I cut it off because it just felt like it was starting a whole new paragraph.
It's always interesting with the breakdowns where you get them from because I feel like like usually they've been consistent from consistent sources. And now it's like a different one each week, so I'm liking the variety of the breakdowns.
Well, I'm always looking for the most concise one, the one that like says it in a couple of sentences, doesn't give away too much. Often it means I end up using the ones that typically come from the streaming site, so it's trying to sell you on the series. So there's ups and downs.
Fair. But currently, right now, as Nathan said, there's 20 episodes out, so it's finished. The sub is finished anyway. The dub is only up to like episode 8 or 9. You said?
Yes, from what I could find, the dub is up to 8 episodes. Don't know where you can find it. I found it through alternative sources. I won't say any more. Please support the official release.
Apparently, in the US, you can hear the dub on Crunchyroll. But in the UK, on Netflix and Crunchyroll, we've only got the sub here. So for our US listeners, I think they have the dub ready to go. But we don't have that. It's like a weird Toei thing. Like Toei do this thing where like America gets all the dubs like pretty much straight away, but it takes ages for us to come over. Like it's always been that way, which is really silly, but it is what it is.
I want to say licensing. That's it. That's all I can think. It's some sort of weird licensing thing.
Yeah, 100%. It's got to be like I don't know what's going on over there. I don't know all details of it, but yeah, it's something there. It's a Toei thing. That's all I can put it down to. There's a lot of other things we can get into about Toei, but I'm not going to say that. But yeah, so myself and Nathan have watched the sub version of it. Nathan's been hyped about this for a while as well. This is the thing. Like, I think you were struggling to hold yourself back with this series.
I have been, yeah. I've almost started it several times.
Yeah. I, on the other hand, the whole I like hearing the idea of Daima beforehand. Before it launched, I was like, yeah, cool, I can get into this. And then when it did get round to it, I was like, I don't feel like I want to jump into this straight away. There was something about it. And usually I don't mind watching it week to week. This is usually a thing for me where I'm like, yeah, cool. I don't worry about bulk watching it or whatever. I can do this whenever. But there was like, it took a bit of time for me to get into the idea of Daima. I think that even came through in the early stages of me watching the series as well.
Interesting. Okay.
So I think it was the idea of, oh, Goku and his friends have turned small. I was like, I don't know how I feel about that. Like, it feels like, don't get me wrong, like I still love parts of GT, but there's obviously parts of GT I really don't like.
Yeah.
And the idea of this quite early on sounds like, oh, this sounds like a very similar concept to something we've heard before. And then,
Okay.
as I said, there's
Yeah.
spoilers. There's
Fair.
other
Fair.
concepts that come through in it later. So, again, wasn't the most hyped jumping into this. And again, early parts of the series, I was like, this is okay watching. I didn't actually feel that enthralled by the series early on. I'm going to say this straight
Mm-hmm.
away. However, when the series got into it a bit more, I started finding myself a bit like, oh, okay, I'm enjoying this a bit more. It's only in like the latter part of the series where I was actually enjoying it.
Okay.
That's I felt at times, again jumping straight into it. I think there were parts of it which felt quite slow paced to me. I think there was like bits
Yeah.
and pieces there which are like, okay, did we really need that episode there? There was like the stuff with the giants and stuff which feel and this is what I'm gonna say as well. This feels like a big mix of all parts of the Dragon Ball series to me. So you can, when you watch this series through, you feel there's parts of Dragon Ball in this. You see there's like some little bits of like Z and GT and like all like soup, like there's all these parts that feel all connected. And it feels like this doesn't feel like, oh, this is Dragon Ball. This is Dragon Ball Z, this is Dragon Ball Super, this is Dragon Ball GT. It feels like its own thing, which is what you need from this. This doesn't feel like it's akin to a lot of the other stuff. It feels like a big
Mm-hmm.
amalgamation of it, which is what I quite liked about it as well. So even though I said, "Oh, I'm not sure how I feel about the early episodes," I can kind of see where it's coming from in that as well. So this isn't a criticism. It's something I found personally to be a bit like, I'm not too sure about this, but I can understand the choices that have been made in it as well. You know what I mean? I can understand
Yeah.
why certain things have happened, certain things are there. But, I use having watched it 2 or 3 times, as you said, you've enjoyed it quite a bit then.
I surprisingly I did. I remember when it
Mhm.
was announced and we were like, "Oh, Dragon Ball babies and GT,"
Mhm,
and
yeah. Yeah.
the initial like reactions and whiplash of it all, just being like, "What the fuck?" More like like Dragon Ball Kids again. Like, what? Why?
Mm.
Why are we doing this? But after watching it, I have to admit, it's refreshing. It's very refreshing
Mhm.
to see how Toriyama writes it and plays it out that they're
Mhm.
kids, and even everything that happens. I don't know if I'm looking at it through rose tinted glasses even before I even saw it, because like Toriyama's passing and this is like the last thing he wrote that we know of.
Mhm. Yeah.
But I just found myself watching a lot of things and being like, that's exactly Toriyama. Like how he would write it. Like,
Mhm. Yeah.
why are
Yeah.
they kids? Oh, because we're gonna go borrow the Earth Dragon Balls, and I want my 3 wishes. But then Shenron's like, no, you get one because you're new.
Mhm.
So then it's
Mhm.
like, oh, turn them into toddlers. That's too wide a range. Like it's there's so many little gags and things that build up, and it's very Toriyama. Like,
Yeah. His comedy shines through it. That it's like a very typical Dragon Ball style of
yeah,
comedy. That's one thing Dragon Ball's kept throughout its whole series. Maybe a little bit less so in Z, I feel. I think Dragon Ball Z kind
yeah,
of felt like it dipped out the comedy a little. But like Super and Dragon Ball feel like they have some really funny comedy moments. Like just silly, that silliness. I think that's what it is. It's like okay, I can see that
yeah.
bit.
It's
Yeah.
everything you were saying. It's this like
Yeah.
amalgamation of everything. It's like you can feel it's everything he's done for this series kind of culminates in this one thing, and that's why it's like, you know, okay, they turn into kids because Goma wants them to be weaker, but also, funnily enough, like at most of the series up until almost the end, or versus like Tamagami, you never really feel like Goku and friends are in that much peril, because you're like,
Never. No.
Goku, Vegeta, Piccolo, like the people who are returning and are actually going to do the fighting, they're still just
Mhm.
adjusting to their little bodies. But at no
Mhm.
point do you ever feel like, oh man, they're fucked. They're so screwed. Like because Goku's just got it handled.
Yeah, it is 100%. Like, it's like you said, up until like the Tamagami stuff, probably like, I think that's the
Yeah.
right way of pronouncing it. Apologies, not. Like you think, oh, that's the bit that's gonna cause him a bit more of a struggle because he hasn't struggled a lot, like at all, up until this moment. And even against those, like he just goes Super Saiyan and then pretty much like wins the
Yeah.
fight,
He was
basically.
still like he
Like,
was still
and then
playing even in that fight.
yeah. Like, and even like, even the second time ago where Vegeta goes up against it, it's like Vegeta struggles a little bit, but that's because there's a whole other bunch of factors that come into
Yeah.
it. For example, there's the Kraken stuff, which you didn't really have in that first fight. That first
Mm.
fight was literally Goku versus Tamagami, and that's it, basically. And there wasn't any external factors in it at all.
Yeah.
It was just a fight between two people. Whereas Vegeta's fight, you had Never, the Namek, also improve the Tamagami's fighting ability,
Oh yeah.
and you also had the Kraken against him. So
Mm.
like Vegeta had a bit more of a struggle, which is like arguably you did need that in the series because if it was Vegeta goes Super Saiyan and wins, it was like okay, so it's exactly the same as a Goku fight basically.
Yeah. It's exactly as the Goku fight. You saw Goku go Super Saiyan 2 right at the end for the Tamagami fight. Tamagami number 3 fight. So like the fact that it amps up to that next level for Vegeta is like that's why because you then need it to get to that point. But
Yeah.
that's kind of why I really like this because it's like
Mhm.
okay, they never really struggle. But I also kind of like that because in GT where it's like
Mhm.
oh Goku's little and it's like whose body doesn't know how to do any of these techniques. It's like yeah that kind of makes sense, but at the same time he would still somewhere know how to do it. So if he just
Yeah.
practices or just gets more acquainted, he would be able to unlock these abilities, right? So like in Daima, I like that it's just you know what? Goku and Vegeta can't sit still. They are just constantly training to get used to their bodies because that's what they would do. So like I like the way this was done and how certain elements of things we know from previous attempts have changed. But I agree with you with the there are some elements that I was just kind of like, okay, we didn't need that at all.
Mhm.
like, like turning the whole cast, like everybody involved with defeated Majin Buu's turned into a first grader. Yeah, that's great and all, but like besides Goku, Vegeta, Piccolo, Shin, Bulma, Kibito, and Dende, why did anyone else need to get turned into a kid? Because no one else did anything.
I think that's the funny thing about this, and like what is really strange about this is the absence of Gohan as well, because
Mm.
obviously, it said Gohan into kid. It's just like, it's just Kid Gohan, and we've seen him before, which is
Well,
understandable. That's the hit. That's the speed bump in your little like, let's turn into everyone in the kid thing. It's just Gohan's just completely absent this, which is hilarious
that's
because
that. Yeah,
he
that's the
if
best
you
part. They're like,
and
"Oh, where is he? Oh, he's
'cause-
studying. He's been really
yeah.
distant."
It's such a random little write-off as well. You get that from the start, and you know why it's done. You can literally put two and two together straight away. It's because it wouldn't fit in with the story that
Yeah,
well. And because we've already seen it. And arguably, I guess like Gohan's inclusion would probably be like, well, Gohan's just gonna start his journey again with it. Basically, we've seen Gohan
yeah,
go fight against like fight on Namek, so we've seen him do this shit. So it's understandable why he's not there. But you're right. Then you got like, here's Mr. Satan, and you got Master Roshi as kids, and it's like,
yeah.
okay, cool.
Ox
It's kind of
King, Oolong, Bois, Baby, Goten, and Trunks, and you're like, yeah, but what? It doesn't matter.
yeah. It's just it's like there's a difference there between the Dragon Ball humor and this doesn't actually feel like it's necessary humor. You know what I mean?
Mm.
There's certain bits like the banter between Bulma and Vegeta is quite. That's
Oh
very
yeah, yeah,
Dragon
yeah.
Ball
That's
humor.
good.
There's a lot of stuff which Goku does, like just like, I need a poo and stuff like that. Where it's like, what the
Oh
fuck?
yeah.
Why didn't you do this earlier? Where it's like typical, like kind of like that feels early Dragon Ball. You know what I mean?
Mm.
That feels very Dragon Ball coded. And, like there's a lot of there's a lot of stuff there which is like, oh, this is Toriyama's human. And you had like certain bits where you're like, oh, okay, cool, that's just unnecessary. It's in the early stages, which I guess is another thing which I found in the first few episodes at the first handful that I was like, okay, I'm watching this to just get through it a little bit. This isn't
Mm,
enthralling me that much. There's certain bits where like I think when it proper gets into Goku getting a challenge and actually having to go against Tamagami, actually I need to do something, and you're like, okay, cool. Okay, I'm getting into this a bit more. It's easing me in. And then there's a little bit of the lore of the demon world as well, which is quite cool to
mm.
see in here. Like all the the Bura stuff, and you got his brother, no, his
His
predecessor,
yeah, his
and
dad,
yeah,
Abra.
yeah. And then like you got all that kind of stuff. You got like obviously um Supreme Kai's little brother and sister. You got them
Oh
there as
yeah,
well. Like you got the
his
Kai
older
like
sister Arinsu and
yeah.
his younger brother Degesu.
Yeah, and then you've got what's his real name? It's called like
Nahare.
you actually get Nahare, that was it. And you got a bit of that there. And it's like, oh cool,
Don't you feel
he's
like it's
got
a
a
missed
name.
opportunity though? Like
Well, like
Arinsu,
Yep,
Degesu,
yep.
Nahare. You're like,
Yeah, it's like he's the middle child, right? Why did you just like did you just have a like little thing there? It's like, okay, cool, yeah, we change that one. Could
middle
have like
child
at least got
syndrome,
it like
right? Like,
yeah.
because that's the way it's made. He's like
Hmm.
in between them, but both names end with Su, and then you've got like Gowasu and Zamasu,
Yeah, yeah. You
but
have
then
like
Nahare.
there's yeah, yeah, it's a bit strange, but that's just, I guess move past
I
that,
don't
I
know.
guess.
I
I don't know,
mean,
is there like maybe there's a reason why he's been done like that? I don't know. Maybe there's another meaning that I'm not getting in Japanese. Maybe there's a
maybe I don't know.
thing
I didn't
there.
look into it, but I mean,
Yeah.
I guess that's also
I
another way to
yeah.
be like, he's different from the other ones. he's he's
Yeah.
different from the other Glind, which
Yeah,
is
that's another thing as well. You get different kind of like races of the
yeah.
demons as well. Like all, and like you get a little bit like, oh, this is why the demon worlds are divided. And it's like, so hearing that kind of stuff, it's really cool. Dragon Ball lore. It's like kind of like, oh, okay, cool. There's some stuff
Mm.
you wouldn't know if you just watched Z or Super. Like you heard about the demon world, but you haven't really heard much else about it. Really, you just get little like crumbs of information about it. That's all you get, little crumbs, and then like, oh,
Well, I
okay,
mean, like
now we're
the
actually
the
seeing
only
some
other
of these
thing you
bits.
ever heard of the demon world was like Dragon Ball Heroes. So Toa and
Oh
Mira and
yeah,
that version
yeah,
of the
yeah.
demon world. Pepe loves it. If people can't see Pepe's face right now, he's so impressed. He's loving this.
uh,
He loves it when
I
I bring
think
up Dragon Ball Heroes. Pepe is the biggest
it-
Dragon Ball
I'm.
Heroes fan.
The thing is about Dragon Ball Heroes, it's a blessing and a curse, right? Because you get things you'd never see in a series, which is really cool, and then you get other random bits. And like, am I supposed to know who the fuck that is? I'm sorry. You just call this guy, oh, his Cumber or whatever, and I'm like, who? And they're
What's
like, you
wrong
know,
with
Cumber.
Kumba? And you never you don't know Demon God Salsa or
I
Demon
think.
God Mushroom?
Yeah, see, I don't even know who the fuck that is, and I'm supposed to know who that is. I'm sorry, like you can create all these little things here and there, and I'm like, okay, that's fine, you can do that, but
My
maybe
guy's
give
over
me a bit more
here.
story about.
He's raging. He doesn't even know about Meki Kabara. Like, God.
I don't know what the fuck that is. No, of course I don't know what the fuck that is. No one's told me about it. Like, that's the one thing. You could create all these things. It's like, hey, here's Super Saiyan 4 Gohan. I'm like, cool. That looks cool. Where does it fit in? You've just given me this thing just because you heard Dragon Ball fans want to see it, and they kept on creating their own fucking own fan art on DeviantArt or whatever the fuck it is. They create, oh look, here's my like some nerd in 2005 on the internet. Like, here's my Super Saiyan 5 Goku, and it's just basically Super Saiyan 4, except now he's white fur instead. That's all it is.
Wow,
It's
that
like,
nerd writes
cool.
super now, I'll have you know.
Yeah, like, that's the funny thing about it. They've seen all this stuff for you. Like, you know what? That's a pretty good idea. Let's fucking include that shit. And it's like, okay, cool. We're just supposed to accept this thing. Anyway, that's my grievance with Heroes. Just there a little bit. I'm just like, it's a thing that exists, and that's fine. It's fine. I believe me. It's do what you want. Don't even get me started on that fucking Cell X bullshit. And then
I didn't even
Like,
want to bring it up
fucking
because
they
I know
ruined my
it's your favorite.
boy. What did they do? What did they do to my boy?
It made
But
him better.
no, I'm not getting into this. Uh, this is a dime episode, and that's the one.
Yes.
Look, okay, this is one thing I see about this as well is that this is a branch off. This is 100% a branch off series. We're getting a lot of these things right now where it's like we're getting the whole like multiverse of like Dragon Ball stuff. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? It's like we're this is a series where it's another snippet off the timeline. You know what I mean? Like, oh look, here's this thing that goes on between Beerus before Beerus and after Boo. So
Yeah.
we're in
A
that
lot.
kind of
It's
middle
funny. A
period.
lot of stuff happens after Boo, but somehow it has to somehow conveniently slot in before a lot of the newer established stuff. So
Yeah.
it's like the thing is, it's funny because it's like, oh, before Beerus, but somehow they're supposed to know who Rymus is and how Rymus fits in. Because
Yeah.
Shin's like, or Nahade or Supreme Kai, whatever you want to call him,
Mhm.
right? When
Yeah,
he's
yeah, yeah.
explaining the whole like lore of the Glint and everything, and he was like, oh yeah, so there was the original Demon King, who I'm blanking on his name right now, and he got Rymus, who is like a big version of Zeno, like a giant Zeno
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
a superhero costume. Rymus created the first universe. But if Goku and friends haven't met Beerus yet, therefore all of the super events haven't happened yet. So he hasn't met Zeno. They're just supposed to understand Rymus is just this big, all powerful. I mean, like, obviously, because Shin said he created a whole universe, you understand that he's pretty powerful.
Mhm.
But it's just, I know for us as the audience, we get the visual because just to
Mhm.
say Rymus with no visual would be like, what the fuck? But I mean, I like to imagine that Shin is like projected this image of this Rymus to Goku and friends, and they're just like, yup, mm-hmm, cool.
Cool. Cool.
Mr. Rymus-san.
Cool. Thumbs up for me. Yeah,
Yep.
that's Remus right there. I can't disagree. That's Remus.
Although I will say that whole part was hilarious. Again, another gag. It's
Mhm.
like Bomb was like,
Oh
"Oh, so you're
yeah.
from here? What's your story?" And Shin's like, "Oh yeah, it's quite long. Do you mind if I tell it?" And Goku's like, "No one wants to hear that."
Yeah. Goku's like,
He's just like,
skip cutscene,
yeah.
please.
Goku savagely just straight up is like, "No one wants to hear that.
Like I do love that. I do
Ain't
love that
nobody got
kind
time
of
for that."
if the story went how Goku wanted it to be told, we wouldn't get any like,
Yeah,
nothing. We get
that would have got
nothing, bro.
skipped. That whole Rymus, the whole Glind, the fact that the trees that the Glind come from are extinct now, so Shin's probably the last one in Universe 7. But like it was just yeah, it was just that Goku straight up was like, I don't care, I don't want to hear it. I want to
Yeah.
fight. Can we fight?
It's,
Like,
I mean, it's like it's Goku all over. Let's be honest. Like, say what you will about Goku's character, he's not the most in depth, but how he's written is completely like that. It's like everything about Goku that's in this series right now is exactly how Goku would act. You know what I
oh
mean?
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And like the thing is like the way he acts now is very similar to how he acts in Super. But it's annoying in Super because he's an adult and he's doing all this big, super serious, like world-ending stuff. But like in Daima, where okay, there's still sort of like big-ish stakes, at least for them.
Yeah. Hmm.
It's like when he does stuff like that and he's a kid, you're like, "Oh, Goku, you little brat." You
It's
know
like,
what I
oh,
mean?
there you
Like,
go. Yeah, it's exactly that. It's like, oh, Goku's just doing this thing. He's like, he does what Goku thing, does his Goku things, and it's like, oh, okay, fair. And like, he isn't, and he's not going around actively. Like, don't get me wrong, he does jump in and defeat the bad guys because he sees injustice going on. That's what he does. He's like, oh, I can't
yeah,
stand this kind of thing. But like, he does also know when to hold it back in this, which is quite good because it's like, oh crap, they're gonna like invade our ship. We need you to hide, and he does that well. He doesn't jump in. He's like, he takes Glorio's lead and stuff. He's like, okay, cool, I'll hold back. You
yeah.
guys want me to hold back? I'll hold back. He's not fucking brain dead, which is great.
Yeah, he's not like, oh, I forgot the talisman for the for the pot and the muffle bar.
Yeah,
Oops.
yeah.
Like,
It's
God
like
damn it.
it's not stupid stuff he's doing, so it's fine.
Yeah.
It's like it's a bit more excuse. I think maybe that's been taken on board. I don't know if it has or not. I don't know what the crack is, but it feels like it feels he's a bit more likable in this compared. There's
Well,
certain
everything just
yeah.
makes more sense. He's not just like
Yeah.
dumb for the sake of dumb.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, cause that's one thing, that's one complaint that I think we've said, like, maybe on and off this podcast is the fact that Goku as a character, like, he goes through peaks and troughs in terms of what he does and whether it's
Mm,
justified. Cause there's a lot of things where I'm just like, I don't care for Goku. Like, for me, when I watch Dragon Ball now, I'm supporting Vegeta completely because his
yeah.
character growth is like, you see the character growth in Vegeta. You see where he's going with it. And he has so much more to him compared to Goku, who's like, "Yeah, I want to fight," or like, "Oh, I've got to do this," and it's like, "Okay, cool." Like, I'm kind of like over Goku in general a little bit. I'm more of a Vegeta fan, and
Mm,
in this, you see, like, don't get me wrong, as a Vegeta fan, you still get some really cool Vegeta moments. Still gets done dirty a little bit here or there. Don't get me wrong,
yeah.
which is understandable. When you got Goku as the main character of the show, you want him to do the finishing touches of whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
You want him
But
to get
this
those
this
power ups and
like
stuff. It makes sense.
this series does bring Goku back though. It does, like you said,
Mhm.
it makes him more likable because
Yeah.
again, he does the right thing when he needs to do the right thing, but also at the
Mhm.
same time you're like, he's exploring a new world. This feels like Dragon Ball. He's just a kid again, like, wow, look at this stuff. And you still get the classic, like in the bar fight, Goku's like, cool, let me warm up,
Yeah.
but I still want to eat my burger.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, still got to get my burgers in, and I'm
It's
like,
yeah,
I like that.
it's yeah, it's
I
Goku.
like
It's
that.
Goku shit. Yeah, Goku doing Goku shit. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? He doing
exactly.
his
But I
thing.
will
Yeah.
also say
Mhm.
the choreography, the fights in Daima,
Mhm.
man, we have not eaten this good in Dragon Ball in a long
It's
ass
true. Yeah,
time.
we're
Oh
getting somewhere
my
there. So
god.
yeah. Mhm.
Like the fact that they decide like Toriyama decided that because they're small again, they're not gonna do as much like Dragon Ball Z super
Mhm.
style, like big energy fights and stuff. Like it's more simple, hand to hand. Goku's got the power pole again, the Nyoibo, like
Mhm.
just everything was like, yo, just watching him go back to basics, down and dirty, like hand to hand was so good. That bar fight is a very good example of it where Goku is just like, get my hands dirty, let's go, let's go. Or like when he gets tested at like the castle of Demon World 3. That's another example of just like Goku is in his element here, just straight up fighting. Martial
Mhm.
arts. Although he does break dance at one point, but
It's a lot of stuff where it's like you said with the Nyanbo coming back as well. You get like that classic like, oh cool, it's nice to see this stuff come back. It's little like it's those little bits here and there where you're like, oh, okay, cool, it's
mm,
nice to see that. Like it's a good different style of fighting compared to like you said Z or Super. And like but like you also get like everyone kind of gets their little bit no matter what part of Dragon Ball you're most into, you still get that, oh, look, here's this little
yeah.
Z style fight like, at the end, or you get like the early stages of of Daima, you get like a lot of, oh, look, here's this kind of fighting against the Tamagabis, or like,
Yeah.
oh, here's these bandits, where like seeing Goku just fight against bandits or whatever, like thieves, it's like, oh, okay, cool. It's like, it's typical Dragon Ball shit, you know what I mean? It's
See,
like,
I also
yeah.
think the difference between Goku and Vegeta in the series in terms of combat is real good as well because like they grew up in different ways. Goku grew up learning martial arts, doing hand to hand. He didn't do a lot of ki blasts and stuff, whereas Vegeta
Mhm.
like defaults to a lot of ki blasts. Even like when they're adults, Vegeta tends to do more ki blasts and stuff. But
Definitely,
like
yeah.
as kids, you're like, oh man, that just really shows you their thought processes and how they fight like as martial artists as well.
Yeah.
I was just like, there's lots of small details that maybe as a fan, like a bigger fan, I pick up on too much, or I think about too much, or I'm trying to overanalyze. But it's also just it looks good, man.
No, you're so right though, because that's one thing with Goku and Vegeta, two like major protagonists of the series. like, you don't want them fighting the same, and that's the good thing. Like, you can even tell, like, even in the like Dragon Ball Super manga, you get like, oh, you get
Mm.
Ego, and you get like Sai, and all these
Ultra
different kinds
Instinct,
of
yeah.
Ultra Instinct bits. Like, you get loads of these different parts of, oh yeah, Goku's more suited to this, and Vegeta's more suited to this, and like I never picked up on it until you said about the Ki Blast stuff. It's like you're right, Vegeta does have a different fighting style compared to Goku, and it's
Yeah.
like that, like showing that at like a younger age as well, like where they're like all small than that. It checks out the way they fight, and it's like I never picked up on those differences until you said it just there. But you're right, they do have a significant different fighting style, which is nice to see. Which is what you want. You don't want these guys. That's like in a series like Dragon Ball, where a lot of the fighters do have very similar techniques. Like, oh,
Mm.
they do the fighting, they do the key blast, they can do whatever, like
Yeah.
significant other things. You need to separate those characters. It's not like One Piece where, oh, we all have different powers. Like, oh, here's a swordsman, or here's this guy that uses devil
Yeah.
fruit. Like, there's all different types of fighting in the series like One Piece. Whereas Dragon Ball, they all have the similar powers, but how you differentiate from them is so important. And that's where it falls into the character itself as well. That's how you see Goku fight in a different way. Or like he's a bit more naive, whereas Vegeta's like got his
Yeah.
pride going on, so he's not willing to back down as much. There's a lot of stuff like here or there, like there's a lot of factors in that. Um, One thing that I will say about some of the characters in Daima, especially the ones that are very combat heavy, don't really
Mhm.
feel like they're as significant. For example, Piccolo feels like, oh, we're getting Piccolo stuff again. That's cool. But not once did I really see Piccolo fight at all, apart from at the end, and then he got beat down. Like,
Uh, af One of my subsequent watch throughs after the first
mhm,
one,
yeah,
he does take so, after the club scene,
yeah,
where they meet up again, and
yeah,
then
okay.
Goku leaves, and Vegeta's like, "God damn it!" And then the guys turn up, and they're like, "We want
Yeah.
revenge for what you did yesterday." And Vegeta beats up a bunch of them. Piccolo actually does take out one guy,
Yeah, he takes out a big one, don't he?
but Piccolo is really only there so that you have a reason to remember that Namekians are involved,
Mhm,
because the whole thing is we went to the demon world so we could save Dende, who got turned into a baby and then kidnapped. And then we have Never, who is the last Namekian from the demon world. But if you don't have someone else there, it's
mhm.
just kind of like, oh yeah, Namekians were there. My God, I forgot
Yeah.
about that.
It's such like, it feels like it sets you up to think that Piccolo's gonna have a lot more in this, but in reality, like he's probably one of those characters that gets almost zero love. You only get him for the context of the Namekian stuff. Like in terms of
Yeah,
combat, he fights, yeah, like every now and then, but he doesn't have a moment at all. Like he doesn't have like
bro.
a bit where he's
The
like, oh, cool, let me do this, and
the
it's
the
like, oh,
biggest
okay,
problem I had, besides Piccolo just being there so that you remember there's more Namekian stuff coming,
hmm
is that Piccolo is constantly telling people, "I don't know because that was my dad, right? That was
yeah,
before I was
yeah,
born." But
yeah.
then someone says, "Never," and he's like, "What? Never? The
Yeah.
legendary Namekian?" I'm like, "Bro, you can't one moment say I don't know because I wasn't born and then be
Mhm.
like, oh my god, the guy."
One thing that I felt like they kind of glossed over as well is the fact that like Kami and Piccolo fuse as well. That's the one
Yeah.
thing. There's stuff there that I feel like surely Piccolo could have been like, oh, like I know from Kami's experience that this was a thing. Like, could they not have tapped into that
If
at
he
all?
had
Yeah.
said that about Never, I would have been like, fine. I had to infer
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
because I was like, "Oh yeah, Kami and Piccolo fused." So Kami probably knew at some point. Someone
hmm
probably told him,
Yeah.
or this is their memories from when they were one whole person. But like, otherwise, he doesn't ever say that, and he
No.
just spouts out, "Never the legendary Namekian," and then he all of a sudden is just like, "Yes, I know. We came the demon world. We came from the demon world." I'm like, when people ask you, "Hey Piccolo, do you remember this part of the demon world, this planet that you were from?" And he's like, "No, that was before I was born." But he's also like, "Yeah, we're from the demon world." Brother, pick, please. Consistency,
Wha
please.
I don't know, it's just some stuff that I feel like he could have had a bit more in this. Arguably, you've got, like, a lot of other characters that need a bit more fleshing out, which is Piccolo takes a back seat when it comes out. So you got, like, characters like Glorio, for example, who does like, you see throughout the series that, like, "Oh, there's something going up with it. What's the deal?"
Yeah.
And you don't really get it until the last few episodes. Uh like, don't get me wrong, like, that thing is consistent. That's, like, foreshadowed throughout the whole series, basically, like, "Oh, something's up with Gloria, we're not sure what it is."
Mm,
And then it's like, "Oh, it turns out he was working with, what's her face? I can't remember her name. Thing's brother,
I didn't see.
sister." Yeah, Ansu, yeah, I keep yeah, there's names I forget. But,
He
like
forgets. I sent him a whole list of
I know,
names.
I know. They're right about his tiny characters. I can't see shit. I didn't see it, but yeah, like you get that stuff, and it kind of feels a little bit predictable where it's going because obviously Gloria's traveled with him for a bit, and Aaron Sue's like, "Oh, finally, you could do my wish for me," and you're like, "I know how this is gonna go. I don't expect anything." Like I was like, if they like, part of me's thinking if he does grant Aaron Sue's wish. I'll be like, where is this series going? We've got 2 episodes left here. Well, three episodes in. Like, where would this be going if he grants her wish? It's like, okay, yeah, I know where this is going. He's gonna fucking side with
Yeah, I
Goku. Yeah,
mean,
he's gonna do that. Yeah,
he wasn't ever gonna do it.
yeah, yeah,
He was never
exactly.
going through. I mean, it it's because it's always Dragon Ball, you know. Like he's a
Yeah,
character who's been with us pretty much from the start, and he's been
mhm.
traveling with Goku this whole time. All of these characters always get swept up in Goku's like something. I don't know.
Yeah. This
I
is,
was gonna say charm, but I'm like, I don't know. Is it
yeah.
charm?
Don't
They
know.
always they always end up just like, you know, like no, Goku's a too nice of a guy. Like I like this guy, you know, like he's
Yeah.
we're friends, you know. Nakama, and then it's like, yeah, we're gonna help him out.
Everything about Goku is like, yeah, we'll help him out reluctantly, is what we're gonna do with Goku. It's like, yeah, sure, we'll come with you for the sake. Yeah, fine, we'll do this. It's like nothing ever
To be
feels like.
fair, if Glorio didn't do that wish,
Mhm.
like I also wouldn't blame him because Goku fuck up. Like he
Yeah,
fucks his name up every time on purpose, and we know it's on purpose because he says
yeah,
his name right once in
yeah.
20 episodes.
It's like it's a constant gag that comes through. My name's Glorio. It's like, yep, cool. We've heard this
Yeah.
gag before, and it's a running
Hey,
thing.
Glorio,
Yeah. Yeah. It's
Glorio,
every
that.
time it's like, yeah, cool, cool, yep, Gloria. And I was thinking, is it gonna factor in? It's just like, oh no, it's just a thing. And then Gloria was like, this guy in the last episode, it's like, this guy is Gloria, but that's fine, it's you. And it's like, yeah, okay, cool. Just accepted that thing, that gag that's
I
running
have to
through.
say that's a dick move by Goku, by the way. Like says it wrong all the way up until he does something good,
Hmm.
and then says it right once, and then goes back to getting it wrong again, and you're like,
What
you
I
motherfucker.
see, this is the one thing as well, because he gets Shin's name right from the get-go. It's like, "Oh, I
Yeah.
could call you Nahoe." It's like, "Oh, you can call me whatever." Like, it's like, "Okay, cool, I'll just stick to what I know, thanks." And it's like, so he gets Shin's real name correct the first
He
time.
also gets Pansy's name right every time.
Yeah.
Every time since they met her. He's
Glorio
not
just gets done
once.
dirty, bro. Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
that's what
just
I'm saying. He's not once said it wrong, so he's doing it on purpose. He's being a
yeah.
dick
Yeah,
on
there's no
purpose.
reason. It's not like, oh look, he's just bad with names. It's fine. It's like, no, he's clearly not. He's getting everyone else's name right apart from my
Yeah, because he
Gloria.
can fucking turn around and be like, Pansy, you got TP? I don't give
Yeah.
a shit.
Oh man, and then like what other things went down in this? I think there's other
I
stuff
mean,
like
we should talk about the new margins,
oh,
Ku and
hundred
Boo.
percent. Yeah, I thought they were like really cool additions. Actually, I really like the margin stuff. I was unsure about it at first, but like the more
I was unsure
like
at
they're
first, but then there were two, and I was like,
yeah.
okay, that's so Toriyama because he loves
Mm.
having duos. Like he loves
Yeah,
having like a partnership thing
characters.
going on there.
Yeah. And like they work really well as characters. That's one thing. They're both different enough. Like cuz Majin Ku is like kind of like he's not like great at combat. However, mentally he's like freaking up there, like you know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
he's got a good head on his shoulder. a bit ditzy at times, but like he's got other things going for him. You're like, oh, cool, I like this character. You got Margin Du, who's the freaking the brawn, basically. He's there, and like a bit more Boo like as well, like the
Yeah.
and
In the
like, but
looks and the demeanor.
yeah. Like the relationship of Ku and Du is quite wholesome, I think. Like everything about them, like Majin Du, like seeing Goku power up Super Saiyan 3 is like, I want to do that
Oh
as
my
well.
god, that was
He
hilarious.
eats a bunch of cookies and then is like, oh cool, I could go Super Saiyan 3 for, and he does it for like a whole like 30 seconds. Is like, okay, cool, I'm tired now. And
Yep.
it's like, okay,
That there
cool.
you go.
Like,
There's a Toriyama gags coming in again, you
yeah.
know?
Like, and and that's the kind of stuff that I like with it. It's that humor that comes through as well. And like having the way that Do fights as well is so akin to Boo. But like,
Yeah.
and that's like, oh, cool. This is a very thing. Like, this is a thing that he does, and it's like it makes sense why this is happening. Like, everything makes sense. That's why I quite like it. And it's not like he's completely evil as well. This is the one thing when they're like, oh, let's bury the seed 20 centimeters down this time instead. And he's like, oh, I no, he might go berserk. And you might not be able to control him. And I was like, if this goes the way that it's like, oh, this Margin Du gets freaking like just goes off the rails and is uncontrollable. I was like, I don't know how that adds to the story, but they did it well. Like, but Majin Du's still like a cool character. He's funny, like in the Toriyama way of comedy. Anyway, the fact that he's like
Yeah.
freaking fighting with his ass half the time. It's like this Tamagami's trying to fight serious, and meanwhile, it's like, here's this butt in your face. So like, here's this thing, and it's like, okay,
Yeah.
cool, that's
His butt
yeah,
in your face, or he fucking just stops. He's like, Choco, Choco
yeah,
tabetai,
yeah,
Choco tabetai.
yeah.
I want to eat chocolate. I want chocolate.
Yeah, it's like
Chocolate.
and like the fact that like, hey, have this massive cookie, and it's like, yeah, power up. And it's like, yeah, it's good. It made sense. No, I like those characters. Like you said, the duo stuff really works well with them, and I think
Mm.
it's a wholesome ending for him as well, especially with Margin Ku, because like you kind of think, like, what's the deal with this character? Like he has some
Yeah.
good
What's
comedy
he
with
gonna
Du,
do? Yeah.
but what's he gonna do? But
Oh my god. Shut up.
but like the ending with it as well, with him like actually get like defeating Goma is quite cool. Like I like that. I like how it all like, wraps
Okay.
up. It's like, oh,
Wait,
you
wait.
could be a minister. You could be a minister. Like all this stuff. It's like,
That, on that exact point, I
mhm,
have to ask you a question because
mhm.
to me, it wasn't clear. It was kind of a gag. But when Ku said, "Who else wants to be a minister?" and then Hibis is like, "Yes, yes, 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 yes," and then no one says anything, and then Ku's like, "And that's all the appointments."
Yeah.
Does that confirm that he ignored Hibis, or that he was like, "Yeah, okay, cool, you're a minister
It's
now.
it's
Everybody's a minister."
ambiguous. It's very ambiguous because he doesn't confirm or deny it. So it's I kind of took it as it's a gag that Hibis gets ignored because Hibis is one of those characters which is like where like it's the randomest fuck
Hibis,
characters
oh my
like
god, Hibis is if all of Daima was Dragon Ball to Dragon Ball Super,
Mhm.
Hibis is like Doctor Slump.
Yeah,
Like, because Hibis is so fucking random. Like,
it is, yeah. It's it, Hyb- Hibis is solely a gag character, and
yeah,
I do like what he does bring to it because again, it's that Toriyama style of comedy. It's what we're used to with it, and it's like okay,
I think it's
like
also
it's
because the
something.
line reads are just like flat as fuck on purpose.
Yeah, yeah, and
Like, Hibis, what are you doing? Practicing ballet.
yeah. And and there's also like, that's his intro as well. It's that's like it's like yeah, okay, cool. That's Toriyama shit going down, and it's what is it? Oh, I really like your belt. Can I have it? I'll give you a
Oh
kiss. It's
yeah.
like, no, I don't want a kiss. However, I will take your hat. And it's like,
Well, it's even better than that because he's like, "Are you dumb? Why would I want that?" It's Toriyama to a T because Hibis subverts everything. It's also like when King Kadan calls them and Hibis is like, "Oh, what's going on?" and they're like, "Goku got the Dragon Ball. We're all celebrating. Go and eat. I'll buy you anything, you know." And And Hyper's is like, "I want a pizza." King Kadan's like, I'll buy you any pizza, I'll buy you all the pizza." He's like, "Why would I want more than one? I just want a large pizza."
Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, have whatever you want. Then just have the pizza.
Yeah, and it's stuff like that where you're just like, even Bulma in those situations is sitting there sighing like, "What is wrong with you? That he's your boss is offering to pay for everything, and you're just like, I just want one."
You know for facts, like if you were around this person, they'd be the most aggravating person ever because you'd be like, "Okay, cool, you want this? Yeah, I'll get you this." He's like, "No, I don't want this." It's like, "Okay, then, fine. How about this thing?" He's like, "Yeah, I'll have that." And it's like, "Okay, but you wanted this 2 seconds ago. Do you want to get?" No, no, I don't want it again. It's like toddler energy. That's just the best way I can
Yeah.
describe it. It's toddler energy. It's the fact, "Hey, do you want this?" Yeah, I want this. Oh, how about two of these things? No, I don't want two of these things. I just want the one thing. So, okay, fine.
Bruh, you know what? I just thought of the perfect part that it just encompasses that he's toddler energy. They're flying, and Bob was like, "Oh, my skin is so soft, it's so good," and he's like, "Yeah, it is very. Your skin is very beautiful. Can make you my girlfriend." And Vegeta's like, "We're married," and he's like, "Oh, okay, but I don't mind."
Yeah.
And then they have a whole discussion of like, "No, we're gonna become adults again." And Hyper just turns around to Vegeta and goes, "I bet it's because you like big boobs." And
But
it's
it's
like,
but it's also like that's
"What?"
like that's that's the humor that like comes through us, but like that's the Vegeta and Bulma humor that comes through as well because it's like, well, you did deny it. He's right, isn't he? It's like, yeah, right. It's like, it, it is like, oh,
Bruh,
okay, yeah,
the culmination of Vegeta and Bulma humor right at that end fight, man, where it's like,
yeah.
"Don't worry, I got this. Vegeta, you better stop right now, or I'm never taking a bath with you again." Immediate, like, "Okay, your turn."
Yeah, it's it's like this is what I talk. This is what I mean. Where like Vegeta's progress as a character so much because ZU you never get that shit, or like you get his my Bulma and stuff like that, or like you get that
Yeah.
those moments. But like it's his reaction before immediately coming back down. Is like, okay, cool, your turn. It's like
Yeah.
the boy has the man has his priorities. That's the thing. Is like, okay, cool. This is
Yeah, he
like, yeah,
knows what he knows
yeah,
what he wants, man. He knows what he
yeah,
likes.
man.
Taking a
Yeah,
bath with his wife.
yeah, fair, bro. Like, I salute you, brother.
Right?
Yeah, fair, man.
Yeah. Respect, man.
Yeah, he knows what he wants. So you got that stuff. Yeah, that's really good. I think we touched base with a lot of those characters now. All the main. I think the only ones you haven't is really Goma, who feels like a villain who is not a serious villain at all until he gets
No.
the third eye. Which is also
Yeah.
like I do like the moment like they pay attention to Hibis's belt buckles, I was like, that's the third eye right there. I know it is. That's the third eye. Like even like I know that they kept talking about in episode one as like, oh, the only way I want to wish for them to be kids again, and I want my third eye. That's the thing he
Yeah.
was going to wish for. And then like there's a bunch of comedy with the third eye. Like, Hibis has it on his buckle and stuff like that. It's like, oh, cool. Here's this thing that he just gives away at the drop of a hat, literally. And
Literally.
yeah. And then it turns out there's two more here, and it's like, oh, okay, so you can just go to the shop and buy them. Apparently, there's a whole bunch of stuff with that. That's the third eye stuff. But like, yeah,
But
like,
that revelation at the end for the third eye is another
mhm,
one of those where you're just like, "Oh, that's so Toriyama." You could
yeah,
He could have just left that out, but
yeah.
like because
It's
it's
there's a
Toriyama,
reason
he's
why
like,
it's an extra
"No,
scene.
I have
Yeah,
to. Yeah, I
yeah.
have to add this gag." Like,
Yeah, it's like, okay, cool. But again, Toriyama style, completely Toriyama. Checks out. Um, but yeah, Goma as a villain, I'm like, yeah, he's typical Dragon Ball villain until he becomes what feels like to me as a Dragon Ball movie villain. I want to describe it like that because
yes,
it feels very
I
much
agree.
like this doesn't feel like a character who is like I want to say worthy adversary because obviously he becomes it's tough for Goku, Vegeta, Piccolo to beat him as their kids, but when they're in their grown selves, they can deal with him easy. They deal with him no problem, and you can tell that. The only
Mm,
reason why they struggle with him is because he's got the third eye, which basically gives him unlimited stamina. Basically, he can regenerate and he'll be fine. Basically, like no matter
yeah.
what happens, the third eye basically almost makes him invincible to a certain extent. Like that's the one
It's
thing.
because
His
he has unlimited power.
Yeah, and it's like, yeah, that's fair. And like, obviously, if that third eye thing was not a stamina thing, you know for a fact all the characters would beat him easily, like as in their adult
Well,
forms.
I mean,
Like,
like
yeah,
Vegeta was bodying him by himself. Like as soon as they turned adults, yeah. The thing is, like, if the third eye had like a time limit kind of thing, they
yeah,
would have just tagged out. Vegeta was
yeah,
bodying, and then it would have been like, okay, cool, it's Piccolo's turn, and then Piccolo would have bodied, and then it'd be like, oh, it's
hmm
Goku's turn, and Goku would have bodied, and then it'd be like, oh, done. Or then it would be like, okay, now we need to team up, all three of us as adults, and then we're
hmm
just gonna kick the shit out of him.
I think it's I often don't enjoy power scaling in animes because it feels like it takes the fun out of it a little bit. However, like with this whole series, you know for a fact a lot of the adversaries you find in Daima, like they're scaled down. They're like you're thinking that constantly because like oh they're a struggle for Goku and Vegeta in their child form, but you know for a fact like if they're in their like and this is the thing that whole series encapsulates as well is that if Goku and Vegeta were in their normal forms, they would be bruising through every single part of
They
this with
they
ease. This is
basically would have Kamehameha'd and Gallic gunned their way through the entire demon
yeah
realm, and then would have just left.
yeah
Like,
it's one of those things that like if they're in their adult forms from the get go the whole series would be over in 3 episodes, like,
yeah,
maximum.
like no, literally nobody up until Goma with the third eye would have
Mhm.
posed any threat to them at all. And
That's the
again,
only
even
time, yeah.
then, as
Mhm.
kids, they still had it pretty handled. They
Mhm.
were still holding back a lot of the time as well. Like Goku
Yeah.
only started going Super Saiyan after, like,
Mhm.
during that test fight with at the Demon World 3 castle,
Mhm.
King Kadan's castle, right? That's the first time he goes Super Saiyan. The next time he gets like proper serious is against like Glorio and Tamagami number 3.
Mhm.
And even then, because you know he can go Super Saiyan 3 and he doesn't for most of it, you're like, he didn't get that serious.
Again, like you said, I think like you said at the start of this episode, like, nothing ever feels like a struggle for them, even in their kid form. It's only like
Mm.
it's like you said, that only bit is that Goma fight, and I think this is
Goma
where I
fight in
kinda
the
want
giant world, but like
the
that's because it's a
giant
giant
world's good.
world.
Yeah, that again, to me, that felt Dragon Ball esque, and then this one of the episodes I could have given or taken realistically. The giant world thing, I was like, okay, it's here.
Yeah, they just need, honestly, the giant world just felt like a stopgap. Like
Yeah,
they just
hard. They
needed
need to
to
break up
be
the thing a bit.
somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Because that's one thing you find with those. It's like, oh, here's a Tomokomi fight. Hey, big victory. And then it would go on a little like, oh, here's because in the first one, after the first Tamagami fight, it's like, oh, look, it's these bandits that have stolen the Dragon Ball when we're staying at a hotel. It's those kind of like, look, here's a little bit of an easy bit. We're not going from like battle to battle to battle to battle. It's like,
Yeah.
here's a little bit of like a bit more humory kind of thing, a bit more like an easygoing episode, and then they'll get back into it and build up to the next like stopgap basically. Which
Mm.
is yeah, makes sense. Like if it was just battle, 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 you'd be like, okay, this is the same thing over and over again. Like it'd get boring faster. So it does. You can
Yeah.
see why the giant bit is there. It breaks it up a bit. It's fine. Again, not an episode I'm exactly like, oh, I love this. I'm just like, okay, it's there. I don't care for it. But like anyway, that's those bits. But obviously, going back to that Goma fight, it's like roughly 4 episodes long. Roughly in episode
Yeah.
17 is where you see a lot of the cool fight scenes. You see Goku go to Super Saiyan 4 as well. Again, which
Yes.
is a kind of like a thing I'm not exactly sure how I feel about it. Especially like because Goku's beat down and Never's there, like, cool, yeah, do 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 do. Super Saiyan 4, yay. And it's like it's a weird thing, like GT explained it better how he became Super Saiyan 4. This is like, hey, we've taken the design of Super Saiyan 4. Here's some magic. and there you go, off you go.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's one thing. It's there to be like, hey, it's cool, but you're like, "Mm." Not very explained very well. Like, you've taken the
I don't
design,
kn
which is
yeah.
cool, but like the design made sense when they did it in GT because it's more of like
Yeah,
the
because they
Azaru
were the
hybrid
great
kind of
ape.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like this kind of feels like, especially with the red hair as well. I was thinking, wait, is this like partly Super Saiyan God as well? Like, I wasn't even sure whether to call it Super Saiyan 4 until he said it in the last episode. That's the first confirmation of what the name is. It's Super Saiyan
That's
4
true.
in that because like Goku doesn't speak at all in kid form as Super Saiyan 4 either. He just
No.
fights. It's
But that's, like
only
that's
yeah.
also another, like, Dragon Ball trope, though, when he gets, like it's like, oh, the big fight, and then he gets that new transformation that's, like, the new tip top. Goku normally
Mhm,
doesn't talk. He
mhm.
normally,
Yeah.
like it's just, like, all business. But
Yeah.
you're right, I hadn't thought about the red hair as well, like, being a precursor or something to, like, Super Saiyan God, but you're right because it is around the same color.
Yeah.
So maybe that's just their way of paying like homage to being like, oh, this is just before, like maybe he's on the cusp of breaking through.
Yeah, I was so like indecisive, like I said, of what to call it as well, because his eyes are red in this as well.
Yeah,
And if correct me if I'm wrong, but I think in Super Saiyan 4 and GT, Goku's eyes are yellow. I think.
yeah, yellow and
Yeah,
black hair.
yeah, it is in it. It's
Yellow. I'm pretty sure it's yellow eyes and black hair.
Mm. So it's one of those ones where I was like, "What is this form?" Like, obviously, it get like if you look at it visually, it's Super Saiyan 4, but there were certain bits of it I was like, "This is different though. This is like I didn't know whether it was like a design choice for the anime or whether this was like, oh, it's on purpose. This is because it's doing this." And I was like, "What is this? What is this
I mean, it
form?"
was cool to see it again.
It
It's
was cool. Yeah, it again felt a little bit like shoehorned in a bit, just to be like, "Hey, here's this thing." Like
yeah, okay,
I know why. I think again I can understand why it's done there. There's a lot of cool bits there, but it also feels like, oh, okay, you just did this because it was a cool thing
okay.
to do. Yeah.
But here's the thing though.
Hmm.
Would you have preferred Super Saiyan 4 or Goku and Vegeta use the fusion bugs, of which Goku bought but never used,
Did yeah.
and instead they fused as adults and ended up having Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta or Gogeta or whatever
Um, I
whatever
think
it
there
ended
could
up
have.
becoming.
I think there
Base.
could have been a good opportunity here because we've seen different types of fusion. We've seen fusion with the Patara earrings. We've seen fusion with the fusion
Yeah.
dance. Fusion bugs are completely different in this kind of sense. I would have loved to seen a third version of of a fusion thing. So like I would have seen. I like to see a Goku Vegeta fusion, which we haven't seen before with a
Okay.
fusion bugs thing, which is like I don't know what it would look like. I'm not a Dragon Ball designer
I
at all.
mean, the only
I think
reason
that could
I would have
yeah.
said Vegito is because they were like, even Goku was like, oh, it's like Patara.
Yeah.
So
It would have made it like if anything, it feels like it would be a Patara vibe. It would be more Patara than Fusion Dance. But I think there could have been an opportunity there for another third fusion form.
yeah,
Um
the
I
fusion
think
and they got bugs. They
I
got
think
bug
it
features.
yeah, like just antennae or something like that would be quite funny to be fair.
Antenna, mandibles, and fucking.
I think that would have been quite jokes to be fair. Um, but I think I personally, if I had a choice, I think Super Saiyan 4 is a fine way to end it. It's a fine way. I think there could have been other ways. There could have been it would have been cool to maybe see a spirit bomb ending, even though we've seen it done 1,000 times before. It would have been like a typical like, oh look, here's a cool way of doing it. A different move, maybe. Like, would have been
Super
cool to
Dragon
see.
Fist.
Like, I mean, yeah. When have you seen Super Dragon Fist done? I think it's only in Super, right? Apart from the
Yeah.
movie, taking the movies out of it.
Yeah,
But it would
I
have been
think it is
cool.
only Super, yeah.
It would have been cool to see that maybe, like even like a combination move of Vegeta, Goku, Piccolo, everyone doing like like I want to say that the father son Kamehameha, but like
Yeah.
obviously a joint thing where it
I
feels like,
mean,
hey, here's the
that
guys come together to finish him off. But obviously
that
they
would have
needed to
been
do
when the
the
fucking, like, if they
yeah,
did a spirit bomb, that would have been everyone else combined to do the one, like,
yeah,
beam struggle, like, "Oh, Makako Sampo," and
yeah.
the Gallic Gun and whatever the fuck Shin and Glorio do.
Magic.
And
Ooh.
Ku and Do and Tamagami
Yeah,
1,
yeah.
even though it seems like Never could have powered up everybody, he's got lots of crazy hidden magic
Yeah, why
skills,
did
but
just
Old Man is still just there chilling.
I like that he made things like harder for Vegeta, but easier for Goku. Vegeta's fighting. He likes a fight. Here's a bit more of a challenge for you. Whereas Goku, like, here, Goku, have his power up. Here you go, bro. Alright, okay, cool. Like I'm not saying Never has his favorites, but I mean, clearly he does.
I mean,
Uh,
he could have powered up Piccolo, and then we could have had Orange Piccolo, and blah, 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 blah.
could have had. Imagine if Never just fused with Piccolo. Fucking like that's. Imagine like ultra Piccolo. That's what I'm saying.
Nah, that would make Piccolo like way too OP as a Namekian. Now, if
But
we fuse with
that,
Dende,
however,
ooh, the
in the
ultimate magician.
nah, I think we're going at some point. I don't know what the state of his heroes is right now, but you're gonna get the Never Piccolo. You're gonna get that. You already here's your Super Saiyan 4
Yeah.
Gohan. Here's your Never Piccolo. That's what you're gonna get. I'm predicting it here and now.
Like, I don't know. I still think like never fusing with Dende is better because Dende is also one of like the
Yeah,
magic class
it's
Namekians
true. Yeah.
because I still don't quite understand why Namekians go by like RPG class systems. So there's like the warriors and then the magicians. But okay.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah,
But
I never thought of it, but
you
yeah,
know,
you're right. You're right. Yeah.
it would be cool to just have like the ultimate magic Namekian.
Yeah, like I think there could be room for that kind of stuff.
Well, because I mean, like at the state of Namekians already, Piccolo's like the strongest warrior Namekian.
Yeah.
So like you're not wrong. Super Dragon Ball Heroes will definitely end up doing that at some point. So then Piccolo's like just the ultimate Namekian, like warrior, magician. He does it all, and it's just like, oh fucking hell, what's
Yeah.
the point? What's the bloody point anymore?
It just happens like that. But I think going back to what we were saying though, again, ending's fine. Again, I like the three smacks on the back of the head, out goes the eye, win thing. I quite like that. It's like again, feels
God,
still tied into Dragon Ball. So it's a good
yeah.
amalgamation of Z and Dragon Ball fighting. So not upset by it.
It's
Uh
also a very video game.
I yeah, it does. Is actually yeah. It's very Zelda. But I don't have a problem with Super Saiyan 4, but I feel like it could have been done better. That's the only thing. I like it's cool that they
Mm,
threw it in. It's a cool thing.
yeah,
How it lends itself to Dragon Ball universe, I'm just kind of like, okay, cool. I'm not that bothered
yeah.
by
I
it.
got no idea how that's gonna play in, or if it will. They may just very well be like, cool, that was a self-contained
Mhm,
thing. That's just over there. We don't talk
mhm.
about that anymore.
Exactly. Yeah. Again, like you said, this is a mini series, and this is a branch off of whatever the like. This is one thing with Dragon Ball now. I don't think there's like by the sounds of it, there's no mainline Dragon Ball anymore. Like from what we know of what happened with Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z, that's an isolated period of time now. But now you have your spin-off bits, and that it's including the multiverse, so that there's all multi
Bruh, I
like
mean, the heroes, your favorite heroes also did that too, you know? There's the
Mhm.
Xeno universe where there was
Exactly.
GT,
Yeah.
and then there's our universe or the main universe, the one that we were following where they got god powers instead.
Mhm.
Like,
The only way that I can see this now is the original Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z is the OG timeline. That's the thing that like you get
yeah.
encapsulated. Anything that goes off past that, whether it's Super, whether it's GT, whether it's Daima, whatever you want. There's the manga stuff, then there's the anime stuff, there's the movies. There's all these different things going on now, and like I think we had this conversation way back, even before this podcast started. The definition of what is canon, what isn't canon, is just gone out the window now. There's no There's no canon or non-canon. It's just different universe, and that's how they've explained it. And I
Yep.
think Dragon Ball is an appropriate universe for that. I think it's a great way, and like this is why I'm not like when it came down to Daima in the end, I'm kind of like I'm not upset by anything that came out of this because it's its own timeline. That's how I see it. I'm not seeing this is canon and this has well, this doesn't make sense because this is it. It's like whatever happens in this, it's fine. Like I my only like irks with the series in total were I found it a bit slow at the start, but it got better. That's the only thing that I really have to say about Daima as a whole with it. I think
Fair.
oh yes, it's fine. But yeah, what about you? Any closing thoughts on this kind of thing?
Daima was incredibly refreshing, and despite any gripes that I would have with the series, I would say even if you have gripes, go and watch it. If you're a Dragon Ball fan,
Mhm.
you deserve to treat yourself because it is good. If you don't go into it thinking too much about everything, it's a really light-hearted, nice, good series. It goes back to a lot of basics, does a lot of referencing. Well, I guess sort of, but like honestly, the state of Dragon Ball has been concerning, and Toriyama's passing obviously made it more concerning. But watching Daima just sort of, I don't know, it just brought it back. It's like I don't feel like I gotta be concerned anymore. Obviously, you do because it's a miniseries. It's got nothing to do with the super or the actual main series, but it's so worth a watch. It's a fun romp in a new place. Goku and friends just doing their thing.
Yeah. I it's like you said just then, Nathan. I think if you're like a diehard Dragon Ball fan and you like universe in total, like watch this. That's one thing. Watch it and then like you kind of like just enjoy the series for what it is. Don't think too hard. That's it. Yeah. You if you like Dragon Ball, if you like everything that Dragon Ball does, I have no doubt anyone will enjoy this, like as a Dragon Ball fan.
Yeah.
Like I don't doubt that at all. Every fan's gonna have their different preferences, and that's absolutely fine. But at the end of the day, we always say make your own judgments with this. Me and Nathan
Yep.
have like again, I still think Dragon Ball Diamond's good. And you agreed like you that's one thing. Nathan
I
enjoys
bloody
this a
loved
lot.
it.
Yeah, he bloody loved it. And I thought, yeah, it's a like as I'm not a bigger Dragon Ball fan as Nathan. Don't get me wrong, I'm still a Dragon Ball fan. Played all the games, watched all the things, watched all the movies. We talked about this multiple times in this podcast.
Yep.
I still enjoyed it regardless. Like it might not be my favorite part of Dragon Ball, but I still enjoyed it. That's the main thing I took away from that. Any more closing thoughts, Nathan, before I wrap this up?
Um, the intro song is pretty good. It's got an old school kind of vibe. Like I was saying this to Pepe before, like off recording, but it's like okay, it's pretty good, but I don't know that I would want to outside of watching Daima listen to it all the time. So I didn't add it to the playlist, but I was just like, okay, cool.
It's a weird one. I only like the song when it gets to the chorus. And
Yeah,
the bit I keep singing in my mind is ja jaga ja da da
yeah.
da da
Okay,
da
so that's
da
same.
da.
Once it gets to here comes a new
New
story, I'm
story.
like, okay,
Yeah.
this is where it kicks in. I'm like, okay,
Mhm.
then now it's good.
Opening's okay. Not my favorite Dragon Ball opening, but has its moments. Has the bits so you can keep singing it back in your head. Ending I don't
Yeah.
really care for that much. But yeah.
I didn't even. I mean, on Netflix it skipped through, but I was also like, I don't care. But I didn't get grabbed by the first 2 seconds of the ending, so whatever.
Understandable, yeah, that's but again, guys, thank you for listening to our Dragon Ball Diamond discussion. A long one. Hope you enjoyed. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell button for future Culture Boys videos. Click the links in our description. We have all of our podcast platforms there. And we see you guys next time for another Culture Boys discussion. Bye bye.
Bye.